on 95.3 FM in Windhoek, Desert Radio. The Bold Voice.
So we are the Namibian. We have to do our Namibian things. And everything we do is for the Namibian, for ourselves. So this system we're introducing now, it's a system that is going to benefit the Namibian people. And as you have heard yourself yesterday, that after 30 years, after 30 years of struggle, bus and taxi drivers, they haven't had any benefits. There was nothing. So we've been working so hard, and it has cost us sweat, to come to the level where we are. So the system is an introduction to the new era, or in terms of the Namibian transport industry, whereby we really want to try and see how best we can reach our government halfway, because normally in countries, people depend on the government, they depend on whatsoever coming from the government. So we see how the economic crisis is all about. We see how the people are suffering coming to the passengers. So really the situation is so deplorable. So therefore we take that decision, and we've been struggling and battling to see whom have we now, we have to, hold arms together. And at least finally we find the rightful partners that they understand the struggle of Nabta, and they understand the real struggle of the transport operators, and also the passengers, especially this time of difficulties.
And you're speaking about benefits, right, to both the passengers and to the bus and taxi drivers as well, and your members as well. So speak to us about what the specific benefits would be for each of those groups.
As I said earlier, that when you talk about the benefits, this benefit it's a complex. It's something that covering almost the entire nation. We're starting from the taxi driver, an ordinary man, that providing unexplainable services to the Namibian people. Looking at the responsibilities, or the role that the taxi driver is doing, including the bus drivers, many people are undermining these individuals, but it is something that one have to appreciate. So benefits we talk about, they never had a pension fund. You can start at early age as you can. So, but when you retire, either whatever age, can be 60, 70, you have nothing. You can go home as you come in. So that's something one have to consider. Talk about housing. These are the people that carrying lives of the Namibian people, but they sleep under the bridge. They sleep in the cars. They sleep behind, somebody's backyard. So something that one have to consider now psychologically. If now you have a person who is handling human's life security-wise, but that person is traumatized mentally, physically, and emotionally. So how do you expect that particular person to render excellent service? So we go deeper into that, and we now come to that conclusion to say, well, guys, let's see what we can do for ourselves and for our people. Talk about funeral cover. So a person who's driving a bus or taxi, should this person's life come to an end, families have to contribute. And as a person, we're not working. So we see it fits for us to introduce free funeral cover for our members, particularly for all of those who are in the transport industry. So to see, especially the main members, we said this is a main person. He really he really ought to have a dignified funeral service. So although we are not promoting that, but that's the way it is. So at least so that the families can feel we have had somebody who was amongst us, and even passengers, they have also to benefit from here. Look at the current situation. So the oil price or fuel price is going up every day. So now you expect, especially now at this current moment, you have just maybe heard South Africa is about to rise the fuel price again. So now in Namibia, the fuel price have been drastically raised for 3 times, whereby Nabta have been considering, what should we do? Should we raise the price? the passengers couldn't afford. But the drivers, bus drivers and taxi drivers, they are suffering a lot. So we really hold arms with our partners where they understand and say, okay, Nabta, we are going to rescue. We are going to pump in some money, some funds, so that we can see how best we can now at least relieve our passengers and the drivers. Say, for instance, the taxi's fare now is $13. If we are to increase, it have to become $15, at least for the taxi driver to earn a living. But what about the passenger? So we see to it now that let us reduce it with $2 for the passenger, and we increase with the same $2 for the driver. So now the passenger have to fork in only $11 less than $13. So then the taxi driver is going to receive $15. So who's going to cover this cost of $4? Now that comes from Nabta and partners.
Okay.
So at least it's a huge relief, if one can say.
Yeah.
And perhaps just go into more detail about the voucher system, because that would involve, the new system now would involve passengers paying for taxi services through vouchers with critical security features. Perhaps for the benefit of our listeners, just go into a bit more detail in that, because it does sound interesting.
Yeah, thank you very much. I like you guys. You know, and I think together you're gonna spearhead. We're gonna spearhead this project. Follow closely, and you inform the Namibian people through your Namibian newspaper, through your desert radio. So these travel vouchers, it's an introduction to the new system, because Nabta we have built up a new system. We have established a new system. This new system is not just about the voucher. So the voucher is the key. It's an entry point, so that we can at least see how best we can introduce the benefit to within the sector. So the voucher, it's what now we give to once the drivers registered with our system, with Nabta system. So we give them the voucher, because remember, the registration is not just about to everybody.
Yeah.
We talk about those who are legitimate bus and taxi operators. So the legitimate taxis and legitimate bus. So with all full documentations. So that's why we said, once you are legal, then we can now operate with you. The reason behind also is to root out those who are operating illegal, because they are now robbing, those who at least have acquired licenses or a permit to operate. So now the voucher is now bringing now people together, because the transport operators, they are scattered around, they are hopeless and so forth. So now we hand out the voucher to the driver. So the driver, whenever the passenger gets in, he pays $11. Then the driver hand out the voucher to the taxi driver. I mean to the passenger. What the driver have to do is just to scan the voucher. So because the vouchers have got security features, as we have said, the codes. So meaning that each and every bus or each and every taxi, they will be handed, they will be given vouchers according to their numbers. So meaning that if you have got taxi A, you get your vouchers, 100 vouchers from 1 to 100. You have got taxi C, so you get vouchers from 500 to 700.
So they'll all have specific numbers and key
For sure.
codes,
Yeah.
essentially.
For sure. So therefore now, then every passenger that gets into your taxi, you hand out the voucher. Why? So for your benefit, for the benefit of the passenger. So that the passenger keep that voucher, because there is a continuous benefit, especially for the passengers. There's something that I'm supposed to tell you now, but I have to withhold it because it's for the next presentation. So there are a lot of benefits that we introduce in this particular system.
Okay. So with the vouchers, what I'm trying to understand, right, is because when we were discussing it earlier,
Yes.
we were talking about, how, train or metro systems work in other countries. You get a voucher, you scan it, you can reload it.
Yes.
But if you get a different voucher from every taxi, how do you keep track of the passenger?
As I'm telling you, the moment you get into a taxi driver scan that voucher.
So you have one voucher as a
Yeah.
passenger
You-
that is scanned in different taxis?
No.
Huh, okay.
So what I'm saying is, the moment you scan that voucher as a passenger, you keep your voucher,
Okay. Okay.
right? The moment you keep, that's what I'm saying. It's for your benefit.
Okay.
So because at the end of the day, we'll follow the scanning and we say, oh, this is our customer. He deserves this reward. Right?
Okay, so the voucher will eventually
Exactly.
have
You'll be
a
rewarded.
reward. Okay.
The moment, as much as you use Nabta system, the more Nabta system will recognize you. And
Okay.
the more Nabta system will reward you. So that is what we say. And at the end of the day, the moment you said today is Wednesday, you get into you get in various taxis. At the end of the day, now you get probably in 2 or 3 taxis according to your movement. So then you lost your gadget. So now you don't know you left it in taxi B on taxi A.
But you have a voucher.
But you have a voucher.
Okay.
So for that particular day, you just call in to Nabta system. I have lost my gadget. So I get into taxi A or taxi B, but I don't know now in which one. Right? So then Nabta will immediately trace those taxis.
Okay.
So because that's the system we're talking about. So then at the end of the day, either your fellow passenger gets in, get that gadget. So without the driver knowing it, we'll be able to know because we'll be installing the system within the taxis and the buses,
Okay.
so that we can monitor their movement and secure their lives, the lives of the passenger and the lives of our drivers.
Okay.
That's quite innovative.
Yeah, that is quite innovative,
Yeah.
and I think would be super helpful because, a lot of people lose things in taxis.
Yes.
But then also, I'm curious about, you said there's a lot of partners that have had to come together to make this possible,
Yes.
because there is, payout that has to come from the end of Nabta and partners. Can you talk to us about who the partners are that you're collaborating with?
Well, as of now, I can tell you the physical partners.
Okay.
So I can tell you now just those are running at the forefront. So we have got Omalaiti Technology. That's one of our main partners. We've got Simanya e-hailing services. So it's the reason why I'm mentioning this. The moment I'm mentioning it, I feel so proud because they are the Namibian-owned
Okay.
companies.
Yeah.
So and we've got now ENZ Technologies that is now spearheading this campaign or this registrations. So together with Nabta. So also owned by Namibian individuals,
Okay.
particularly a women such as yourself,
Okay.
young lady.
Okay, that's really
Yes.
beautiful.
So those are some of our main partners behind the development of Namibian Nabta system and all these kind of benefits. So together with now other partners.
Okay.
Yes.
And then lastly, Mr. Nakathingo, I see we're running just out of time. Briefly for me, if you can, would this initiative in any way possible somewhat reduce road accidents? Have you guys looked at that element?
100%. Sorry, you are correct. 100%. It is a system that considering a lot of various issues that concerning the public transport. Remember when I'm talking about the monitoring system.
Yes. Yeah.
So it means that even on the long distance buses, so we install those devices that can monitor the movement of the bus, securing the life of the passengers on board, and also making sure that the public transport is more safer and secure. How? Remember that sometimes when the bus involved in an accident, the first accusation comes to the driver. So, but sometimes, or in most occasions, so this road accident might be caused by external factors. Do you understand? So now these devices will be able to monitor and tell the law enforcement, especially the accident investigators, or even the MVA fund that this accident was caused as a result of this. So, and also, should there be anything disturbing, instances or individuals within the bus, we'll be able to know. We have now a lot of issues or a lot of incidents that we used to receive for our taxi drivers being robbed their taxis. We'll be able to identify who are those individuals, criminals. Yes.
And then, John Colin, I know you said last question, but Penda, if you can just make this a really quick but brief answer, because I am quite curious. The idea sounds great. It sounds like something that everyone would want to receive, right? So what are your thoughts of the Ministry of Transport saying that this initiative is not legitimate? Is there any talk or collaboration going to happen there?
Let me tell you this. In the whole country, there are those who don't want to hear anything from some other, from anybody, but he want to be the forefront or individual of that. So look, these kind of individuals, there are some of those who want Namibian government to progress or to be at least, or Namibian people to be, at least when you bring up the initiative, somebody want to say, it's mine. But we took note of that. And we know who are they. Because some of the people, they want to hear the Namibian government just to do bad things and bad things and bad things within our government. And they don't want anything that, especially now during this current leadership, I saw, there are a lot of things happening negative, but we do these things because we are independent, we are free. So this initiative is a legitimate. We know who are those saying, because when it comes from you as Selma, or when it's coming from Thomas, they say, now please don't follow that. So what we are saying, I am here today. You speak to me physically. I'm not outside the country. Should this system or should this initiative be not legitimate? Who am I to do this within our people? Listen, we are saying passengers are going to receive benefit. It's a reduction from that burden. So the taxi drivers, we increase this taxi fares. It's not from the government, because the government doesn't have money. I know for sure today, we have written to the ministry, as our line ministry, for the government to at least give us 15% in order to rise to $15. So up to today, we didn't receive that. You see how a public servant are crying for increment salaries. So the government said that they don't have money. So as a Namibian person, I have to find an alternative how to mitigate the situation amidst of this particular situation. So, and how to meet our government halfway. This is our initiative. So I believe that particular individual could say, wow, Nakathingo, come to the table. Can you tell us, what do you mean? What is going on? Okay, so that we can march together. Should you have something, or should you make something that you maybe didn't properly look at this area, or this area, maybe we will expect a downfall tomorrow or so, because this is an initiative for the Namibian people, so that we can see how best we can do it together. That's what we expect from anybody from Namibia.
Absolutely. Well,
Yes.
Penda, thank you so much for joining us in studio today, just to talk to us a little bit about Nabta and Partners Initiative, and we look forward to seeing how it goes.
Thank you very much.